Here's something most people don't realize until it's already happening. Brain fog and memory slips after 60 aren't just getting older. They're often your brain quietly running low on the raw materials it needs to keep firing efficiently. Doctors rarely mention this at a checkup because there's no simple blood test for it. But long before neuroscience existed, cultures around the world built entire diets around foods that happened to feed the brain exactly what it needed to stay sharp into old age. Stick around because number 4 on this list is a leaf Ayurvedic tradition has quietly relied on for memory support for centuries. And number 17 is a fermented dish most people only think of as a spicy side until you learn what it's actually doing for the gut-brain connection. By the end of this list, you'll have 20 real foods you can start eating this week. Number 1. Blueberries. The small berry Native American tribes gathered specifically for the mind. Long before superfood was a marketing term, indigenous communities across North America gathered wild blueberries each summer, valuing them as a tonic food believed to sharpen the senses. Modern research has studied blueberries' deep purple pigments, called anthocyanins, for their potential role in supporting memory and cognitive function as the brain ages. Frozen blueberries retain nearly all of this benefit, making a daily handful, fresh or frozen, one of the simplest habits on this entire list. Number 2. Beef liver, the ancestral food our grandparents never wasted. Across nearly every traditional food culture on Earth, organ meats were prized above muscle meat, and liver specifically was reserved for elders and pregnant women, precisely because of its nutrient density. Beef liver delivers an unusually concentrated dose of vitamin B12 and choline, both directly involved in nerve signaling and the production of neurotransmitters the aging brain depends on. Pan-seared briefly with onions is the classic preparation, and even a small weekly portion delivers meaningful benefit. Number 3. Octopus, the Mediterranean and Japanese delicacy rich in a little-known brain nutrient. Coastal communities from Greece to Japan have prepared octopus for centuries, traditionally tenderized by pounding the flesh before slow braising or grilling. Beyond its familiar taste, octopus is one of the richer dietary sources of taurine, an amino acid studied for its role in supporting healthy nerve cell function. Grilled with olive oil and lemon is the traditional preparation, tender enough to eat without much fuss. Number 4. Curry leaves, the leaf Ayurvedic households cook with for the mind, not just the flavor. This is the leaf I promised you at the start. Curry leaves have flavored South Indian cooking for centuries, but traditional Ayurvedic households specifically valued them as a memory-supporting food, tossed whole into hot oil at the start of cooking to release their aroma. They're rich in antioxidant compounds studied for their potential protective role against the oxidative stress that accumulates in brain tissue over decades. Number 5. Coconut oil. The tropical fat traditional cultures cooked with for generations before it became a trend. Across South Asia, the Pacific Islands, and parts of Africa, coconut oil has been a primary cooking fat for centuries, valued for its stability at high heat and its distinct medium-chain fats. Researchers have studied these medium-chain triglycerides for their potential to provide an alternative fuel source the brain can use even when its usual glucose metabolism becomes less efficient with age. A tablespoon used in place of other cooking oils is the simplest way to work it in. Number 6. Black rice, the grain once reserved exclusively for Chinese emperors. Known historically as forbidden rice, this deeply pigmented grain was once restricted to imperial tables in ancient China, believed to promote longevity and vitality. Its dark color comes from the same anthocyanin antioxidants found in blueberries, delivered in daily staple form rather than as an occasional treat. Cooked exactly like white rice, it simply needs slightly more water and time. Number 7. Matcha, the whole leaf tea Japanese monks drank to stay alert through meditation. Unlike regular steeped green tea, matcha is made from shade-grown tea leaves ground into a fine powder and whisked directly into water, meaning you consume the entire leaf rather than a diluted infusion. Japanese Zen monks traditionally drank it specifically to maintain calm, sustained alertness during long hours of meditation, a combination modern research has linked to its unique blend of caffeine and calming compounds working together. Number 8. Egg yolks, the part of the egg most diet advice used to tell you to skip. For decades, conventional advice pushed people toward egg white omelets, but traditional cuisines worldwide always used the whole egg, yolk included, and modern nutrition science has largely walked back the old cholesterol fears. The yolk specifically carries nearly all of the egg's choline, a nutrient directly used to build the neurotransmitter your brain relies on for memory formation. Soft-boiled or gently scrambled preserves the nutrient best. Number 9. Beef heart, the organ meat that quietly built strong, sharp elders for generations. Traditional cultures across the world ate the whole animal, and beef heart specifically was valued for its dense concentration of CoQ10, a compound involved in cellular energy production that becomes especially important for high-energy demand tissue, like the brain as the body ages. Sliced thin and quickly seared, it has a milder flavor than most people expect from organ meat. Number 10. Shiitake mushroom, the fungus Chinese and Japanese medicine has cultivated for over 1,000 years. Shiitake cultivation dates back centuries in East Asia, valued both as food and as a traditional tonic for overall vitality. It's rich in ergothioneine, an antioxidant compound researchers have specifically studied for its potential role in protecting cells, including brain cells, from age-related oxidative damage. Sautéed simply in butter or oil brings out its deep, savory flavor. Number 11. Black garlic, the fermented garlic Korean and Japanese kitchens age for weeks. Made by slowly fermenting whole garlic bulbs under controlled heat and humidity for several weeks, black garlic develops a sweet, almost balsamic flavor completely unlike raw garlic. The fermentation process concentrates certain antioxidant compounds well beyond what fresh garlic carries. It can be eaten straight, spread on toast, or stirred into sauces. Number 12. Squid ink, the Mediterranean ingredient that colors an entire dish black. Spanish and Italian coastal cooking has used squid ink for centuries, traditionally stirred into rice and pasta dishes for both its dramatic color and its distinctive briny flavor. It carries meaningful zinc and B12, both nutrients involved in maintaining healthy nerve function. Most home cooks simply buy small packets of it to stir directly into a rice or pasta dish. Number 13. Lamb, the red meat Central Asian and Middle Eastern shepherding cultures built entire diets around. Nomadic shepherding communities across the Middle East and Central Asia relied on lamb as a primary protein source for thousands of years, valued for its dense iron content, a mineral essential for carrying oxygen to brain tissue. Iron deficiency, common in older adults, has been linked to noticeably reduced cognitive performance. Slow roasted with garlic and rosemary is the classic preparation. Number 14. Cacao nibs, the raw, unprocessed form of chocolate most people have never tasted. Before cacao is processed into chocolate bars, the roasted crushed beans themselves, cacao nibs, carry a much higher concentration of flavonols than any finished chocolate product. Central American civilizations valued raw cacao specifically for its stimulating, mood-lifting properties long before it was ever sweetened. A spoonful sprinkled over yogurt or oatmeal delivers a genuinely different nutrient profile than a candy bar. Number 15. Chestnuts, the nut European villages roasted through entire winters. Unlike most nuts, chestnuts are relatively low in fat and higher in complex carbohydrates, providing the steady glucose supply the brain relies on as its primary fuel source. European mountain communities historically relied on dried, ground chestnut flour to survive winters when other crops failed. Roasted over an open flame is still the most traditional preparation, the shells splitting open as they cook. Number 16. Purple cabbage, the vegetable with more antioxidant pigment than its green cousin. The same anthocyanin family found in blueberries and black rice is concentrated in purple cabbage's deep violet leaves, present in far higher amounts than standard green cabbage. Eastern European households have fermented and cooked purple cabbage for generations, and eating it raw in a slaw preserves the most nutrients since heat gradually breaks the pigments down. Number 17. Kimchi, the fermented Korean staple that feeds more than just your gut. This is the dish I promised you earlier. Korean households have fermented cabbage with chili, garlic, and ginger for centuries, originally as a way to preserve vegetables through harsh winters. Modern research into the gut-brain axis has drawn growing interest in fermented foods like kimchi, specifically because gut bacteria appear to influence brain inflammation and neurotransmitter production. A small serving alongside a meal, rather than a large portion on its own, is the traditional approach. Number 18. Star anise, the star-shaped spice that flavors Chinese and Vietnamese broths. This distinctive spice has flavored slow-simmered broths across China and Vietnam for centuries, prized for its warm, licorice-like aroma. Its essential oils carry antioxidant compounds that traditional medicine associated with overall vitality. A single pod simmered in a broth or tea is typically enough to flavor an entire pot. Number 19. Herring, the small fish Scandinavian and Baltic households have preserved for generations. Long before refrigeration, Nordic communities pickled, smoked, and salted herring to survive the winter months, and the fish remains a breakfast staple across Scandinavia today. It's rich in omega-3 fatty acids alongside vitamin D, both linked in research to supporting healthy brain tissue as the body ages. Traditionally served on dark rye bread with a little onion. Number 20. Black sesame seeds. The small seed traditional Chinese medicine specifically prizes over the more common white variety. And here it is, the seed that closes out this list. While white sesame seeds are more common in Western kitchens, traditional Chinese medicine has long favored the black variety specifically. Ground into a paste or stirred into warm porridge, believed to nourish the body as it ages. They carry a notably higher mineral and antioxidant content than their white counterpart, a distinction traditional practitioners understood long before anyone tested it in a lab. Pigment-rich foods like blueberries, black rice, and purple cabbage for daily antioxidant support. Organ meats like liver and heart for the nutrients modern diets quietly skip. And fermented staples like black garlic and kimchi for the gut-brain connection science is only now catching up to. If you're on blood thinners or managing a chronic condition, check with your doctor before making big changes, especially around organ meats and fermented foods. Your brain was never asking for a supplement aisle. It was asking for dinner.